Madam Mayor, City Council. The majority of the City Council gave us two key promises for the governing of Maplewood. The first was to reduce lawsuits against the city, and the second was to reduce taxes and exercise fiscal responsibility. Unfortunately, a year after your election, you are failing on both counts. The handling of matters in City Hall and in these council chambers has led directly to several lawsuits and indications of more on the horizon. I believe that most of these lawsuits are unnecessary and are the result of clumsy management and short-sighted decisions. If we had a city manager with more education and experience in running a city or a similar organization, we could have avoided much of this litigation. Perhaps you think these lawsuits are the inevitable result of shaking things up. If that's the case, then you were dishonest with citizens when you promised to reduce lawsuits, since you foresaw a big increase in them as a result of implementing your vision or your personal agendas. If your true goal is to reduce litigation, you are failing. The budget and reorganization plan approved by the City Council at your last meeting also fails to achieve your goals. Departments are shuffled around, a costly new layer of bureaucracy is introduced, and longtime veterans are fired, reorganized away, or driven off into retirement or resignation. Massive reorganization makes it difficult to compare this budget with past budgets, but the bottom line is clear. Maplewood property owners will be paying over 10% more, an increase at least twice that seen in the previous year's budget. Again, I believe much of the problem lies with an unqualified city manager who lacks experience running a city. To successfully execute a reorganization on this scale, you need someone who has at least spent a few years creating budgets and managing a staff within an established structure. Instead, the City of Maplewood is serving as the laboratory experiment for a mere student of government. The Council had a process going to select a permanent city manager. Hiring guidelines that all the Council agreed to included the kind of experience I'm talking about. Specifically, let me quote the motion made by Eric Jelly at the August 7th Council Manager Workshop. Jelly moved that the following minimum requirements be expected of a new city manager. A bachelor's degree in public administration or related field. Must have the ability to communicate clearly and effectively both orally and in writing. Be able to formulate, initiate, and administer policies and procedures. Applicant must be able to effectively work with both the public and the council. They must have a strong background in redevelopment and fiscal management. A strong history in both the public and private sectors are preferred. A minimum of 5 years municipal or related government experience. This motion passed unanimously. However, not long ago, Councilman Jelly decided that such a selection process was too much trouble and expense. He proposed, and Mayor Longree and Councilperson Cave agreed, that the city just not bother and instead make Mr. Copeland permanent in spite of the fact that he fails to meet the minimum requirements that Mr. Jelly himself proposed. Following a conventional path to select a professional city manager would have cost some money, it's true. But now we are going to spend more money. Apparently because of Mr. Copeland's discomfort in dealing with members of a union or bargaining unit, in other words, his inability to administer policies and procedures, 3 new administrators are going to be hired. It's hard to figure out in the budget, but I'm guessing that these 3 managers should cost something around $100,000 each in salary and benefits. This means that protecting Mr. Copeland's delicate sensibilities amounts to a permanent 2% tax increase on Maplewood property owners. Perhaps it's no coincidence that 2% is the very difference between our 10.2% levy increase in Maplewood and the statewide average increase of 8.2% reported in yesterday's Pioneer Press. Mr. Jelly objected to spending 1/10 of that amount in a one-time expenditure to search for a seasoned professional city manager. This is not what I call fiscal responsibility. You need to start cleaning up the mess in Maplewood. While I find Mr. Copeland to be a nice guy, the budget, reorganization, lawsuits, and general debacle that City Hall is becoming demonstrate that he does not meet the needs of the city, nor does he meet the minimum qualifications this council unanimously endorsed. Your first priority in the new year should be to restart the process for hiring a professional city manager. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.